to you live from a garage in Gainesville, Florida, like two muertos de hambres. It's El Cuban Dudes Show with Andy and Abel. From the 305 to the 352, from Miami to Gainesville to Orlando to Tallahassee to Jacksonville and beyond. It's time for El Cuban Dudes Show of Florida. Dale.
Yeah, you got me? Oh, the electricity got me on this board, dude.
No way.
Yeah. Welcome to that's a great start. We're already off to a great start like usual. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
I got stabbed.
Bro. You got stabbed. Hey, so welcome to another episode 7. Believe it or not.
No way, we made it this far.
We've made it this far. Episode 7 of a Cuban Dude Show here on a March 7th, 2024. Here with my boy Abel, like usual. Abel, say what's up to the folks. Oh my God, look at that sexy back. What's up?
Vacila, mira, no tengo la sábana de la abuela. Estamos, hay progreso en el exilio, caballero. Mira,
Holy shit.
Con el
No.
micrófono aquí.
Briggity. Oh, I was debating on putting a croqueta there still, but I fucking said, mano, pa la pinga. Let's just go with
the mic, doggy.
Yeah, dude. Holy shit, man. That's awesome. Let's flip us around here. Boom. There you go. Abel and Andy.
I'd like to thank everybody for the contribution to be able to get my background.
Yeah.
Estos pobres muertos de hambre necesitan un background.
Estos pobres hambrientes need a background. Yeah, man. A Cuban Dudes Show. Today's gonna be a good one.
Yep.
We're gonna have fun today. We got some talks we're gonna jump into right now. We also got el médico chino. In this case, la médica china. Lina Del Pilar joining us today. It's gonna be a good time. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited to jump into today's show. Let me start off by talking about something that's come up all of a sudden, dude.
What's going on?
And we had George Francis from Fighters Rep here before talking some of the MMA and kickboxing stuff.
Love George.
So George, cool guy. Pero to jump right back into the topic of la fajazón y los piñacera y la gente despingándose, bro. What is the deal with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fucking going to have a fight? I think sometime in July or some shit like that.
Bro, I've been hearing some shit, pero coño, the age difference is a lot, bro. Ese tipo, it's Mike Tyson, pero ese tipo, ¿cuántos tiene? Como 80 años ya.
Mike Tyson, I think it's like fucking like 95 years old or some shit.
No, the dude, pero de pinga.
Yeah, no, ¿qué te iba a decir? Mike Tyson, no, he's actually what? He's 57.
Oh, coño, he's not even that old.
57 years old. Yeah, I mean, compared to you, what? He's probably like 3 years younger than you.
At least, yeah, dude. Mira la barba esta.
Yeah, fucking Mike Tyson.
He'll fuck me up too, boy. That guy. Have you seen that guy practicing?
Yeah, I've seen that guy practicing.
Bro,
that guy's a beast, bro. I'm fucking around with that guy.
He still will knock that white boy in his ass, boy.
Oh yeah, but that guy's an ex-YouTuber, bro.
Who, the white dude?
The white dude.
Oh yeah. He lives in Puerto Rico.
Does he?
Yeah, dude, he's got these big mansions in Puerto Rico. I think the last time I saw him, he was opening up a like the last of the Pokemon cards that like a stack. And he was trying to find this one Pokemon card. And
on YouTube.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Were you able to watch the shit?
No.
Bananas. This guy had thousands of followers that night, man. It was bananas.
My YouTube feed comprises of arm wrestling, fucking Metallica videos, and like and slap competitions. Have you seen those?
I've been getting into that, dude. ¿Tuviste cómo lo deja la gente mongólica, bro?
Rágata de pingue.
And you see the power, the what is it, the tango que usan. I'm like, bro, that was a hard hit.
Bro, look at this fucking Mike Tyson guy, bro.
Check see what's going on with this cat.
Watch this. Coge chorizo. That guy will fucking eat your soul, bro.
At
57 years old.
I would never mess with that guy, bro.
Yeah. Animal, tremenda bestia, bro.
Tremenda bestia. Espérate, que tengo también la bestia por aquí, espérate. Bestia. So that shit's gonna be on Netflix. I think sometime in June or July. I missed the date.
Let me
It's
tell
gonna
you
be
what.
somewhere in the summer.
I think it was July, some shit or another.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it was? Let me tell you what. So I think the gimmick is fantastic. Somebody's got to be getting paid, Dave. Pero
yeah.
you got to be. I don't know who's more crazy, dude. Getting in the ring with that guy. That guy's a savage, bro.
Yeah.
That guy. What? Did you see those punches?
Yeah, bro. Did you see a Pepino ahí floating back and forth ahí? Lo que el tipo estaba metiendo piñazo. Tremendo eggplant emoji ahí en la cara. Ahí.
I don't know what you're gonna get hit with.
Chorizazo para todo el mundo aquí, para repartir para todo el mundo.
Okay, choribón.
Choribón. Mike Tyson back with a vengeance there. I'm sorry, guys. That was literally my finger by mistake hitting the video, jumping right back into it.
You got excited. Go get choribón.
I got excited. Yeah,
Choripán.
that's the kind of shit that happens on a live show.
I love live shows.
Yeah, bro. Pero ese tipo, dude, honestly, well, it was a Jake Paul. Jake Paul must have watched Tyson fights, being a boxer now. But that dude's still like in his mid-20s.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's young, so he's quick. He may be able to run real fast. I don't know.
But even watching those fights, bro. I mean, I'm 40 years old. I turned 40 last year. I'm about to do 41 in a few fucking days. Like, unbelievable, dude.
No. Oye, no tienes ni una cana en la barba esa, ¿verdad?
Yeah, right. I'm white as fuck here.
Eso porque te tiñes el pelo, di la verdad.
Pero, ¿qué te iba a decir yo? Watching those Tyson fights, I remember as a kid in the late 80s, right? Early 90s, when I got here from Venezuela, from Cuba, and todo ese relajo.
Right.
When I got to this country, watching those Tyson fights as a kid, dude, was like a big deal.
It was.
I know you know more about that.
No,
than me.
yes. I was like, I remember in the 90s, bro. We would pay at that time was a lot. It was like $75 to watch a fight that would last all of about 5 seconds at times.
5 seconds.
And he would knock the shit out of those people, bro.
We're here to watch Tyson versus otro negrón.
Sí, bro, todo el mundo de que voy para la casa que voy a hacer comida. And they would bring the cases of Heineken y el whisky, el carajo. The main event. Cuando llegaba el main event, 5
Ding,
minutos.
ding, ding. Boom, the pingue done.
The pingue, bye. Thank you for your money.
Thank you for your money.
It was upsetting a lot of times. We were like, coño, man, it's almost better watching
I couldn't even beat the guy in Mike Tyson's fucking punch out, bro. That guy is tough, man.
Yeah, he is.
And at 57, the dude is still at it. I mean, he's nutty, man. Honestly, I wish mental health is a thing, but and I'm sure our guest today will be able to talk a little bit about some of the natural ways of addressing some of those mental health issues. But dude, if he wouldn't have been such a fucking dingbat, you know what I mean? That guy would have been around for probably another 5 to 10 years in his career, easily. I think knocking people the fuck out.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. He's come a long way. I think prison did him some justice.
I think so.
He's changed the way he would think. I think he got into Islam. So he's been very philosophical.
Were you say syphilis?
Yeah. Philosophical.
You see, that's the kind of shit that I post on TikTok and Instagram, and people think we're fucking around. They're like, "Oh yeah, of course, fart jokes." I'm like, dude, this dude really fucking pressed that by mistake.
Dude, I did. I really did. If they would only know that we're trying our best here. We're trying to make something out of nothing happen here.
Yeah.
What did you put in this fucking water, bro? I've seen stars and shit.
Drugs.
I love it.
Oh yeah. I think Mike Tyson should be deployed to South Beach.
Like RoboCop.
To fuck up all these come mierdas down there destroying Miami Beach.
Dude, what is the story with that, dude? So what I'll tell you my experience, because I used to live right there in Collins and 27th with my kids for like about 10, 12 years, 15 years. Bro, and I got to a time where come Memorial Day weekend, dude, we would either not leave the apartment the whole 3 days. So we would only go from downstairs to the pool to the beach, back to the order pizza. You couldn't go anywhere. I mean, there was always fights. There was always gunshots. I mean, to the point where the LGBTQ community had to leave. I mean, they would get out of their clubs. They would pull their wigs, would steal their purses. I mean, they would fuck these poor guys up, dude. And it was just a problem. But then I started watching again South Beach. I left because I was like, coño, you know how you get like melancholy? You're like, coño, I would like to go back to the beach. And I started watching the craziness come 2020. because the pandemic either was about to start, was either starting, and we were getting all the stimulus checks and all this bullshit, and they were telling them, no, you guys can't be too, you know, you can remember that they were like, no, let's not get in a big group because you're gonna get contagious. It's all, you know, all this shit, bro. And the kids were going bananas, bro, turning over cars, you know, tiroteo. I mean, that shit's fucking bananas.
I've said this here before. Oh yeah, bro, you're moving the camera. Holy shit!
Se está desarmando todo aquí,
I'm sorry. Oh man, today's show has been a fucking today's show has been a home run so far. Yeah, you can see that
it's brought to you.
Brought to you by a refrigerator.
It's been brought to you by Big Nose from Gator.
Big Nose. Oh yeah, yes. I didn't even
tell him.
The Big Nose beer, from Swamphead, local brewery in Gainesville. Yeah, but dude, let me play a video. Let me play a video here right quick.
And let me confess about the camera.
What's your foot,
bro?
Your foot,
dude. Not only was my foot, but I was about to pull a muscle. Yo, my muscle casi me. Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
these are all things that our doctor
roll it, Mike.
Today will be able to address.
Oh yeah, verdad que sí. What do we do for cramps?
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Okay, good.
Let me play a video of like the city of Miami Beach telling everybody to go fuck themselves.
Oh, did they really?
Hey, we need to talk.
This isn't working anymore.
And it's not us. It's you. We just want different things.
Our idea of a good time is relaxing on the beach.
Hitting up the spa.
Or checking out a new restaurant.
You just want to get drunk in public and ignore laws.
Do you even remember what happened last March?
That was our breaking point, so we're breaking up with you.
And don't try to apologize and come crawling back. This isn't safe, so we're done.
And just so you know, we're serious.
This March, you can expect things like curfews, bag checks, and restricted beach access.
DUI checkpoints, $100 parking, and strong police enforcement for drug possession and violence.
Whatever it takes, because it's time to move on.
Maybe we can talk when you're done with your spring break phase, but until then.
Maybe we could talk when you're done with your spring break for that phase, but till then, vete pa la pinga.
No, that was basically, oye, cogen su cosa, váyanse para la pinga y calabaza, todo el mundo para su casa. Aquí no hay cama para tanta gente.
Were you going to address your foot folly?
No, dude, it was actually, you know that I was about to, my foot was cramping. Dude, I was painting all day today. And I was like this and shit, bro, and it was starting to pull, dude. And I kicked it, and I kicked the camera.
I know why Tu Mierda Radio dumped you, bro.
No, Tu Mierda Radio it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It's radio, though.
Oh, yeah, did you see that? The people in Miami Beach were saying that they were actually thinking of doing like a live music festival during this time of the year in March to disperse the chaos. So the chaos wasn't concentrated in just Ocean Drive. It was like all over.
Right.
Miami Beach, if you get what I mean.
Right. So I'll tell you.
A little bit por aquí, a little bit por allá.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like divide and conquer, I guess is the idea.
Right. So they've been trying to do also, ¿cómo se llama esa, that electric music? What is it you guys call it?
Ultra.
Yeah, the ultra music. So they're having that in downtown by in front of Intercontinental. They're trying to get them out of the beach. But what people don't really know is most of the people that have been going to South Beach, they get into these fancy hotels, they get into these fancy restaurants, they rack up the bill with lobster and you know all the fancy champagne cristal and all that bullshit, and then they walk out, dude, and they don't pay the bills, and then they leave all these people that are hardworking folks, you know, having to pay for those bills, dude.
I actually read that most of the businesses in Miami Beach are complaining that people actually are spending no money. Like they're just there, they pingan todo, and they don't buy anything,
right?
They don't do anything.
No, they'll sit down and then they complain because they tell them, hey, listen, you have to wear a certain shirt, you can't be like this. Entonces they're bitching you out, they're fighting.
Oh yeah, dude, and even on social media, I should have captured some of those because on social media though, they like this video right here, got people up in a tizzy, you know, and
really?
and this video right here or this kind of content to be like, oh yeah, people. Chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Stop destroying everything.
Right.
Everyone's like, oh yeah, of course, because we're black. Or, oh yeah, of course, because this. Or oh yeah, of course, because that. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, dude, yeah. I honestly I don't recognize the world.
What the thing is that dude would. One thing, I'm all up for jodedera. You know, I feel like I'm still out on spring break of 1984 and I'm still partying, right? You know, but coño, there has to be a time where there's certain places that you shouldn't be acting like a fool, dude.
Yeah.
You know, those are nice places. People, you know, if you're going to a gallery that has thousands of dollars in painting, vas a entrar ahí comiendo mierda, spitting beer all over the coño.
I blame the Source Awards. You remember the Source Awards in the 90s?
Yes.
Used to do, actually, I think it was like in the early 2000s, I think it was. Used to bring their show, the
Yeah,
hip hop show,
yeah.
the magazine,
Yeah.
to South Beach. Y eso trajo, you know, a certain kind of element, you know, a certain
Yes.
kind of people.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Well, no matter what color, what race, whatever, brought
It
a certain
is- it
kind
is
of
what
people.
It is. Right.
And then I'll never forget this one time, bro, going out with my then girlfriend, then fiance, now wife,
Oh.
when I was fucking, you know, basically still a late teenager or in my early 20s or somewhere around there. One day for Memorial Day weekend, it just so happened to be a coincidence. We take a drive to South Beach, you know, especially at night, because we used to like to go drive and
Yeah,
walk
like-
by the
like us.
beach and whatever, right?
Right.
And we were like, what the fuck is this? Dude, it looked like an episode of The Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
why
like, what have I walked into, bro?
Yeah, bro, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's why my wife and I would take off with the kids. We were like, oh yeah, this is just either too dangerous or too nothing. You know, it was just crazy, dude. I'm kind of glad it was kind of over.
I'm thinking that our guest actually may have an answer to some of this
Yeah.
craziness and
How do
provide
we?
a cure for some of these nut jobs.
Yeah,
that
okay,
are
what do we
over
give
there
these
destroying
guys?
everything. So I'm gonna read her in. Today's
ahead.
guest represents the great country of Colombia. Let's give it up for Colombia. She has a doctorate degree in Chinese medicine, el médico chino, as they like to call it, but you know, it's a female, so la médica china, and acupuncture. And her brand focuses on natural medicine, and her goal is to educate people on the amazing powers of natural medicine and how it works. You could book you could book an appointment with her on her website, pillarofhealing.com, and find her on Instagram at pillaroflight.healing. Let's welcome to El Cuban Dudes Show, Lina Del Pilar. Lina, let me go ahead and turn you on.
Welcome to the show,
Welcome to the
Lina.
show, Lina.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting. And definitely the crazies in Miami definitely pushed us out, right? The craziness in Miami pushed us
Miami
all
is
out
unrecognizable.
here.
Miami is unrecognizable in some of those aspects. I mean, when was the last time you were down in Miami, Lina?
My family lives down there, so I was there in Christmas time. I go at least twice, 3 times a year. My family's down there, so I go there all the time. But every time that I go, it's like something completely changed. The traffic has gotten worse. There's just so much more people. It's just, and I love Miami. I love my city. I grew up in Miami. I was born in Colombia, but I grew up in Miami, and I love my city. But to live is just not the place anymore, at least in my view, at least for me.
I think that's more or less how we feel. I mean, we love the city. I mean, I'm going back there again this weekend. But to live is just like the traffic is crazy. You know, it's just feels unsafe at certain points. I mean,
Miami
seems like for a younger crowd, bro.
Miami to me, I'm not sure how old you are, Lina, and I won't ask, but Miami to me is nostalgia. Miami to me is, you know, freestyle music. Miami to me is the early 90s and just the vibe of the 90s. Miami to me is even the late 90s, early 2000s. Hot Wheels. It's
Power 96.
Power 96.
We're 96.
DJ Laz and shit and whatever.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, definitely nostalgia for sure. But like, you can even see that people from down there are moving up here, and
Yes.
low-key ruining also the places up here.
All right. So how about them Dolphins?
Lina's like, there's a lot of these Cubans moving up here doing El Cuban Dudes. So I'm all excited.
No, I actually love that. I love that. I think like you guys were talking about the spring breakers, they're ruining our springs, and like you were mentioning how Miami is reacting. That's kind of how I feel about the springs up here, because when I moved here, it was like about 10 years ago, and the natural springs were absolutely incredible, and now it has changed a lot. They became popular. People have been trashing them. You know, like, people have no respect for stuff. They should just leave it how they found it. That's all.
Right.
That's all we want.
But what spring are we talking about? Like Jenny, because that's the more common one.
Yeah, the Ginny spring. At least the last few springs from Ginny. If you go down the tubing, those springs were bright blue when I moved here, and now they're not. They're brown. So.
Wow.
It just
brown with the sickness. Brown with the sickness.
Hey, Lina, so I wanted to ask you another question. Did you know, being that you really like our springs and stuff, did you know that our local government gave Nestle the rights to be able to suck all that water out to be able to resell it to us? Did you know that?
Yeah,
Or you know
Zephyrhill.
about
Don't drink that.
that?
Don't
Eso
drink
mismo.
Zephyrhill. Don't drink
Zephyrhill?
Zephyrhill. They're the ones that are stealing. They're taking out 3 million gallons of water from the Ginny Springs because that's one of the biggest springs that we have in Florida. Is one of the biggest ecosystems of water here in Florida, and they're pumping out
Well, maybe they're at
tons,
fault just as much
tons.
as the spring breakers, right?
Oh, for sure. And actually they kicked out a big company before Nestle because they were dumping their trash back into the river. And I'm like, well, you're pumping water and then throwing trash in there again.
Right.
I'm gonna
I
go
just don't
protest by
understand
just
this nonsense.
Well, what the fuck are these people thinking?
I'm gonna just protest by just taking a giant mohong in that spring.
Oh yeah,
So that ends up in somebody's bottle of water.
yeah. It's like, look, that's
hey.
Andy. It's a little bit of Andy.
It's a little bit of Andy.
And I mean, I think that's the beauty of up here and like up in North Florida, Central Florida. It has so much beautiful places, like nature places. I love. That's why I moved there.
What would you give these spring breakers to mellow them out a little bit? What natural remedy does Lina del Pilar give to
Oh
chill
man,
these
I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't give him my natural medicine. Take some like really hardcore stuff. Just kidding.
And then there's that.
But definitely, I think like I think like you guys were saying, like the quarantine really made people want to explode and do all these crazy things. I think that being cooped up makes us go a little crazy, and I believe that people have changed a lot after the quarantine and all that stuff. Like people are not the same anymore. So definitely getting back to themselves. I think it's important to have self-awareness and what you're doing. Just like it doesn't matter what other people are doing, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to, then I think that's the best thing that we can do, at least for nature.
100%. But hey, we're not going to solve nature's problems on this podcast or on this show.
Definitely not.
It's just
Definitely
one of those
not.
things, but it is good to talk about it and say it out loud so people could chill the hell out. Lina, let me ask you a question talking back about you and about your practice and what you do.
Yeah.
As a Chinese medicine doctor, within the Hispanic community, there's that joke when they say, "Ay, viene médico chino," whatever, and how does your family feel about you being a Chinese medicine doctor? How do they look at you? Do they take you? I'm talking about as Hispanics. You know how our parents are and stuff. Do they take you serious? Do they consider you like a doctor? Do they like? I would love to know what you go through as a Hispanic woman having a degree in Chinese medicine.
I mean, it's definitely something that people think is just kind of like a workshop that you do in a weekend or something like that. Like most people don't realize how much work we put into becoming a doctor of Chinese medicine. Most people think that it's like a kind of like a workshop that you'd go and get a certification like Reiki or something like that. But it's actually a full-on degree. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of years of work. I went to school for like about 6 years. So it's like selling something, right? So Chinese medicine, because it's not well known, I have to kind of sell it to people in a way, like try to explain to them. My family, I'm very blessed. My mom she was an esthetician, so she knew about natural medicine, and she's actually the one that introduced me to acupuncture. The rest of my family, I have cousins that are like that want to be pharmacists, which is completely the opposite, but they're very interested in like the medical aspect of plants. So at least I kind of get them in that sense, because most medicine come from plant sources. So that's kind of how I get them into it. The energy aspect, it is a little bit more complicated because a lot of more people are they're skeptical. They believe that it's more like of a placebo effect, or they believe that it's not really something that actually is going to work for them. So it's a little bit more difficult to explain to people and sell my product. But my family, thank God, they have been very supportive and they really enjoy what I do. Also, they call me for any little thing that they have. Oh, I have this, I have heartburn, what do I take? Or I have a headache, what do I do? And I have this. And so I become kind of like the doctor of my whole family, and they reach out to me about everything. Also, because I'm very skeptical not that I don't believe in, but I am very skeptical in like long-term medications. I try to educate people a lot in that, at least my family, in that sense, that there's other ways to deal with pains and illnesses other than just kind of like submitting to being in medications for the rest of your life. So that's kind of how I get them a little bit.
But I'm assuming there must have been some kind of transitionary period, right? Like when you were graduating from this degree, you told your parents, "Oh, I mean, you did mention that your mom kind of is the one that kind of got your foot in the door with this whole thing." But for the majority of your family, there must have been some transitionary period. Like now, they probably go up to you because they respect you, they see what you've done, they probably believe in what you do, they probably have already gotten some kind of tratamiento or something from you where they're like, well, I see the effects of what Lina does. But there must have been a transitionary period where they were like, yeah, sure, whatever, Lina, shut the hell up already with your stuff.
Well, I think it's really funny because I actually was going to be an artist. I was going to be an art professor. I love painting. I'm an artist. I do photography. I do a lot of different types of art. So everybody nobody expected that I was going to go into medicine at all. I was actually completely, and this was, my family's all in Colombia. So they're not present in the sense of like, they're here, like knowing what I do. So I have been always very, like, I want to do whatever they do. Yeah. Now, now that I started doing TikToks in Spanish, they get to like learn it a little bit more deeper. But everybody thought that I was going to be an artist. Everybody thought that I was just going to do art and be an art professor. So when I did acupuncture, when I started doing acupuncture, a lot of people like questioned it in the sense of like, are you really going to go to school for that long? Are you really going to spend all that money going to school for that? Because it's not something that is easy. And it's not something that the government gives you money for. You have to pay out of pocket for absolutely everything. So there was a lot of doubt and like in the sense of, are you sure you want to go into school for that long? Like for something that people don't even believe in. And I believed it so deeply that I'm like, yeah, because I think that it's necessary for us to have options of like medicine. Like it's necessary for us to have different types of options for preventative health, for everything, So I definitely think it's worth it. It was something that I guess I had to defend in a way and show my family that it worked. So yeah, there was kind of some kind of pushback, I guess.
So, Lina, I have another question for you. So, like, what really do you do? So, like, if I go and tell you, oh yeah, I'm feeling some sort of way, do you recommend? In other words, what are all the treatments do you do? I know, do you do acupressure? Do you do cupping? Do you do? I mean, what are all the things that you do in your office?
Yes, yeah. So Chinese medicine is like there's a big scope of Chinese medicine. So under Chinese medicine, there's acupuncture. So what we do is utilize like the energetic system that is like kind of like a hidden system in the body that is energy wise, and it connects the whole body to the organs, to the whole body. So what I do, I use these tiny little needles that are like hair size. They're very, very thin. And what we do is kind of erase the obstructions in the body. So I use the needles specifically for any kind of pain, any kind of even like emotional stuff. We go a little deeper into the root of the problem, but also we have a lot of manual therapies. We have like cupping, where we use fire and these cups to create suction and help release tension in the muscles, but it also stimulates those energetic channels as well. And we have, I do gua sha, which is like some kind of scraping. It has become very popular on TikTok, where girls are doing it in their face to make their face like, because we're very moldable as human beings, like we can shape the way that we want. The more you do something, it's going to stay that way. So it has become very popular, gua sha for face, but actually gua sha helps for so many different things, and not only like for cosmetic purposes, but for pain as well. We burn herbs, so it's not that burning. It's not that burning, but we burn some kind of like dried herb called moxa, and that herb burns so deeply and it warms up the body to kind of help any kind of issue that people are having. So there's like a big scope of practice in Chinese medicine. There's not just needles. And I think that's where people get a little scared. They're like, oh, needles, I don't want to be punctured. But you can do cupping, you can do acupressure, like you mentioned, where we press the points and do some kind of like a mild massage in those points to stimulate that energy flow and that circulation in the body.
I like that.
Yeah, it all sounds good. I have had acupuncture before when I was in Miami. I once went for a little bit. I went more for like anxiety and stuff, and I think it was just the traffic in Miami was fucking killing me. Like I couldn't stand being
Bueno, pero eso le
just
da
being in a
ansiedad.
just being in a red light with 3 cars in front of me was driving me fucking bananas.
That'll give anybody anxiety.
Yeah, so like I got burnt out, and I did feel like it was helping. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not just saying it just because Lina's on the show. I felt like it was helping me a little bit, pero I also just I didn't put the time and the effort into going repeatedly. It was kind of one of those people that was looking for like a one and done kind of thing, which I know is not a reality.
Yeah.
Pero,
Yeah, and that's the problem with that. And most people are so used to like the taking something and then the symptoms like subside. But that's not how acupuncture works. It kind of works in like
and
a
that's not
ladder way.
and that's not how nature works. I mean, if you take natural things, you're not going to drink something today and immediately tomorrow you're just 100%, 1,000. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a process, right? It's a process. Lina, how do you? Actually, we're running up against our sponsor break here, and I think I'm going to go ahead and take it, so then we could come back and talk more with Lina about
Absolutely.
natural medicine. Let's go ahead and do that, Lina. We'll be right back.
Awesome.
Enable Properties is a boutique-style real estate and property management company located right here in Gainesville, Florida. With over 2 decades of experience in both the Miami and now Gainesville markets, Enable Properties and owner Amy Cepeda have seen it all. There is nothing Amy and her team can't help you manage, buy, and or sell immediately. Enable Properties has earned a multitude of awards, including those for excellence in customer service and overall customer satisfaction. Amy has a deep passion for the Florida housing market, and that passion will get you to where you need to be. Whether it's investing in new property to expand your portfolio, or whether it's selling your current house and to cash in on that sweet, sweet equity, or maybe it's taking that equity to buy your dream home, Amy and Enable Properties have you covered. Maximize your time and maximize your profits today with Enable Properties. Amy and her team are waiting for your call today at 352-225-1163 or check out their website at enablepropertiesgnv.com. That's Amy and team at 352-225-1163 or on the web at enablepropertiesgnv.com. Enable Properties, your Gainesville real estate experts.
All right, guys, we're back with Lina Del Pilar, talking about Chinese medicine, acupuncture, and all alternative practices. Lina, I wanted to ask you something. I've been kind of itching me to ask you this question.
Oh, she's got something for itches.
Yeah, I'm sure she has something for itches, but I ain't about that. So, how do you feel about when? What do you rather? What do you? How does it make you feel when traditional doctors say that what you do is not backed by science?
Oh man. I mean, that's actually I work in an orthopedic clinic, so I deal with a lot of doctors. And I went to get my doctorate for that specific reason, because I wanted to learn how to speak to MDs about it and have some kind of evidence-based practice where I can show them in their terminology on how it works. So it has been shown, for example, in the National Cancer Institute, you can go online and they have clinical trials of how acupuncture works with the limbic system. The limbic system is actually the one that triggers pain receptors. So that's what triggers when you are hurting. So any point of acupuncture triggers this system in the brain that helps to reduce pain any point. So I think that's fascinating in itself because I can literally needle you right here and it would trigger that system to kind of help your body recuperate and help the body like be signaled to pain. I deal with doctors and actually surprisingly they're very interested. My experiences have been pretty okay with them. They actually believe that there's some kind of merit to it. They they don't understand it and I don't think they will ever, but they understand that it works. So I don't know. It's so interesting.
Walk me through it, Lina, as an example. You're talking to let's give an extreme example to a 75-year-old doctor that's set in his ways. very old school minded, very like, and if Hispanic, oh, cuidado, peor todavía, they're very stuck in their ways. And you are let's be real, right? You are a female and you're coming about them with this Chinese medicine stuff, right? How do you convince a guy like that to even, entertain the idea of that?
Great question.
Oh, that's a great question. To be honest, I just would love. I wouldn't even try to convince them. That those type of patients and those type of people will never. It will never work the way that it would work for somebody that's open minded. Unfortunately, acupuncture works really well with intention. It is an energetic practice. It is natural to the body, and everybody is different. So the way that I, for example, would explain it to that person is that everybody's personalized, and whether they have the same illness, the symptomology will always look different. So we are treating the root cause, and we're trying to find what is going on in your life and what's the lifestyle that's causing this to come up, right? So the way that I would, for example, present it is that if you are doing something like eating processed crappy food all the time, and then you have a digestive problem like IBS or like Crohn's disease, and you can't connect them both into saying, okay, well, I'm eating like crap, so like my gut is suffering. If you can't connect those two, then you will never understand acupuncture, because acupuncture works in a very holistic way, in a very wholesome way. And the way that I would, for example, explain to the doctor is that I can't prove anything to you. I can't do it. I can't prove it, But what I can tell you is that I've seen it with my eyes. I've seen the evidence with people, and the clinical evidence through the years is more than anything that they can do right now. So Western medicine is about 100 and something years old, right? Chinese medicine goes BC. Okay, it goes before Christ, and it has been passed down through lineages of families. So whether it's not scientific, it will never be scientific. And that's the one thing that, for example, for me, I have to get it out of my head. I can never prove that to you. You just have to experience it yourself. And also, it has survived for so long for a reason. It doesn't.
Right.
It's difficult. I'm not going to lie to you.
I got
It is
you.
very difficult.
You gotta choose. You gotta pick your battles, right? There's only so many things. What were we gonna?
No, that I was gonna say that what I don't understand is what is so difficult to understand. And we already know that your spirit and your soul is energy. We're energy. Your aura is energy, and she's working with energy and through energy. What is so difficult to understand that? And also, I had another question where you said that it was Chinese medicine. So I'm guessing that you also are an herbalist and
Yes.
make teas and stuff. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so herbal therapy, it's really interesting because actually Chinese herbal therapy is one of the most researched herb systems in the world. And it's a little different. It's not like here in the West, they'll tell you, for example, you go on TikTok and they'll tell you, take this for that, right? Like you go and you're like, take ginger for your stomach pain, take this for your hair growth, take this. That's not how Chinese medicine works. Everybody is personalized, and every herb or formula that we create is special for them. So two people are never going to have the same thing, right? So let's say that me and you have migraines. We suffer from migraines. My migraines, I feel them right here. Your migraines, you might feel them right here. There's two different types of herbs that I need to put in those formulas. If I have a headache up here, I'll put something like Baishir, which is like it's an herb that uses migraines for frontal headaches. And then, for example, for something in the occiput, you put like Changhu, which is a different type of herb, but they both treat headaches. They're just different types of headaches. So we go really deep into the person. We go really deep. So, for example, if you're coming to see me, I'm going to ask you absolutely everything about your life, about your health, about everything, because I need to know for sure what is happening with you. It's not just, I'm going to fix you with one herb wonder. That's not how it works. We have over 365 herbs and 162 formulas that can be modified with the herbs. So herbal therapy is it's kind of different in Chinese medicine than it is in the West. we do need to diagnose that person before giving them herbs. That's why people get so frustrated with me, because they'll ask me, Lina, what do I take for this? And I'm like, well, you have to do an herbal consult, because I don't know what I can give you that will work for you. First, that's giving bad advice. Second is giving bad names to herbalists, because herbalists need to learn how to diagnose before giving herbs. And that's why people don't believe in it, because it's not going to work for people the same way. So herbalism is a little different in Chinese medicine than we see in the West.
Right. And I'm sorry, we lost Abel there for a second. He's back now. Lina, you said something pretty hilarious. I have to touch on. You said something about shampoo. You use shampoo for
No, Xianghu is an herb in Chinese. It's called notiparium. It's like this radix. It's like this root of an herb.
I could hear the Hispanic jokes.
Shampoo.
What you use for your hair? Shampoo.
Shampoo and shampoo.
Oh
That's funny. There's a lot of funny herbs, like when you say them in Chinese, and then they sound like something completely different. Like, it's really funny.
Yeah, it is pretty damn funny. No, but it is. I know that stuff works. And let me tell you something. My wife suffers from migraines. I'm definitely going to go ahead and hook you two up, because she suffers from migraines all the time. She's always having issues with them. Especially during certain times of the month, I guess, if you will, or when that time is coming up, if you get what I mean. And and definitely she's very pro natural medicine and stuff like that. Like in this house, we're not.
I wonder if she's perfect. She's
she would definitely be perfect. So
because she's a willing participant. So
right, she's someone who would go into it with a positive mentality.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, probably we're gonna have to get my wife and her to go together.
Yeah, that would be. I think everybody should do it. I think it's so funny, because I believe that if you start doing it early on, like let's say, I wish that the 21-year-olds would go and get acupuncture, because that would help them kind of guide themselves in the lifestyle that they're building up. Because most people will come to acupuncture when it's too late, when it's like chronic, when it's like they've taken 20 medications where I can't even give them herbs because they will interact with the medication.
Oh, shit.
I just wish that people would come when it's like more preventative than it is when it's chronic. I have most of my patients, I'm going to be honest, most of my patients are 60 to 80 years old, have so many issues, but acupuncture works for them, even if they have so much issues. Like I had a patient that I thought it was fascinating. Person had numbness all over his leg, couldn't feel his toes. We did acupuncture. He knocked out in the table, snoring and everything, okay? I wake him up. He touches the floor with his toe and he goes, wow, I can move my toe.
Wow.
And I to be honest, I'm going to be honest. I'm just a guide. The body does its work. The body is an extremely intelligent machine that works itself out. It knows how to heal itself, right? Like when you cut your hair, when you cut yourself, your body knows what to do to bring like blood cells to cover that thing so you don't get bacteria. It knows what to do. You just have to guide it, right? You just have to guide it and like show it its way. And we forget that. We forget about that we have a healing aspect.
Right.
And I am a very mind over body person. When people get attached to their illness, and unfortunately this happens a lot, we victimize ourselves and we do not let ourselves heal. So a lot of people get really attached to their illness, to their label, right? I have chronic blah, blah, blah. That's it. There's nothing else to it, because you already identify with that. You don't identify with healing, you identify with sickness. And that's what happens in Western medicine. We identify with our sickness, with our labels. Chinese medicine do not label anything. We do not label. We don't say, you have this. No.
I think that in the Hispanic community in particular, that's very prevalent. I think the word panic in Hispanic is there for a fucking reason.
Oh, absolutely.
I like we very much like the minute we get anything, para la CAC, para León Medical Center, para las madrinas or whatever, we're coming.
Yeah.
A fucking
Hipocondrios, todo el mundo son hipocondrios.
Fucking buffet of doctors poking us with needles and shit, whatever, and we don't feel any better unless we get that.
Absolutely.
Right.
Lina, people must be skeptical at first when they come see you, right? Like they probably come Probably because like they're kind of running out of ideas. It's kind of like you mentioned. You wish people came to you at first, right? They're out of ideas. They're out of like, they're running out of solutions really for to solve the problem. And they come to you and they're probably skeptical at first, right? Can you tell us any stories of any that come to mind of people that like maybe at first were like going, you're like, I'm just here because I feel like I can't do anything else, and then like all of a sudden they're like, oh my god, I wish I would have came here sooner.
All right.
Yeah, I actually had a patient that she was in a car crash and messed up. She had to do a lot of injections. She did a lot of like interventional pain management, which is like is epidural steroid injections. We have like all these type of injections that they do in your spine to kind of block the nerves and block the pain receptors. And then it wasn't working. It wasn't working, and she just kept doing these, and she kept doing it. And then one day, I was like, "Hey, have you tried cupping?" I didn't ask her first for the acupuncture. I asked her for the cupping. I'm like, "Have you tried cupping? Have you seen it?" And then she's like, "Yeah, it's been kind of popular. Like you see the little circles with the darkness." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And then I'm like, "Would you like to try it? I think it would really help your like the muscle tension." And then she's like, "Okay." She tried it that time, and after that, every week she's been getting it done because she noticed that like the first time she did cupping, I did like a combination between cupping and acupuncture, and that day she walked out walking perfectly. She walked in, benched down, couldn't even walk up to the table, and now she's like turning around, laying back, and she's like, I can't believe that I'm moving around this way when I couldn't even walk. So, yes, I think I have a lot of people that I turn into acupuncture that don't believe it at all, and then once they do it, they're like, oh, yes, this is amazing.
So what do you think it would take? What do you think it would take for it to be more popular? I mean, because it seems like it's a very big
You guys want to know the truth?
No, really.
You want to know my truth? My truth?
What is your truth?
My truth is that I don't think that they will allow it to grow as a mainstream thing. It's going to take a lot of people to move into this kind of medicine style. Why? Because Americans do not want responsibility for their issues. They do not want responsibility. So I think that most people want somebody to go and tell them what they need to do, and that's it. But they don't want to change their lifestyle. They don't want to think about what they're doing that is wrong. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do the work. And unfortunately, because of that, it's hard to get people into working on what they're supposed to. Also, I believe that Western medicine is about sick care. They're not trying to heal you. They're trying to make customers. And unfortunately, this is really unfortunate. It has an amazing potential for emergencies, for surgeries, for things that are like, for example, in the past would kill somebody. But it doesn't have something for chronic, for something for the long run, for something that people are going to be experiencing for the rest of their lives. So what happens? They just take a pill and they're like, this is what my doctor told me to do. Yeah. And that's what I'm going to do. And it's really hard. And since I've been doing this where I try to educate people, I've gathered quite a following on TikTok talking about Chinese medicine. Most people don't want the work. They want to message me and say, Lina, what do I take for this?
Yeah.
When I tell them, what are you doing that is causing that pain? Oh, why is that my fault? I'm like, because you're responsible for your own health. You're responsible to do what you're doing. Are you working out? Are you going out? And are you going in the sun? Are you walking? Are you eating? Are you drinking water? The simplest things.
Grounding. People don't know about grounding.
They don't know. They don't have that connection to the natural forces, which is very powerful healing. Our ancestors knew that.
Right. Y lo que pasa es que when you talk to people like that, they think it's like some hippy dippy stuff or hocus pocus shit, and so they don't want to do it. They think you're insane. But if they actually tried it and they walk barefoot in the sand, get your son, do all of that she says, I mean, it would work.
It's true. And like I said, through my wife is where I really kind of opened up a lot to all this natural, organic, just kind of in tune with natural medicine and stuff, or whatever. My wife is like a witch, you know, like I ask her, babe, my throat hurts. Next thing you know, she's like doing like some essential oil with this and that and the other.
I love your wife.
Oh
Me
yeah,
and her
you would
should be
love her.
friends.
You would love her. Yes, you would love. Trust me, you would love her. And she like, I drink it. I'm like, holy shit! Like,
And it works.
And it's and I, at first I was one of these like people that I was like skeptic. I was like, I no como tanta mierda.
Claro.
And then I would take it and be like, wow. So, but
Mhm.
definitely it's one of those things where I feel like next set of generations moving forward, the world is going to be better, right? Because I think going backwards, a lot of these people are just too stuck in their ways. Like my mom, if I were to tell my mom, "Oh, grounding" or whatever, mom be like, "Ay,
no comas tanta mierda.
no comas mierda, estás de medio, dame una galleta ahí con mantequilla."
Y pide mierda.
Yeah, so how would you know? And I think it leads to my question. In your mind, Lina, like if the world believed, right? Not, maybe believe is not the right word, but you get what I mean. Like if the world really bought into Chinese medicine, herbs, acupuncture over the I don't want to say traditional, but the status quo medicine, right? Like going to a routine doctor, whatever. If the world as a whole pretty much was into the acupuncture, the Chinese medicine, how would the world look versus how it looks today in your mind?
Well, one of the things that people don't acknowledge about acupuncture, that it brings the attention inwards. So when you're laying down in that table and you have needles, your mind is quiet. You're almost in a meditative state where you're not really thinking too much. Some thoughts might come up here, but it brings the attention inwards. So if everybody was to do it, I think we'll have more responsibility and accountability for all the things that we do. Right? Because it's bringing the attention back to ourselves. What are you responsible for? What are you doing to change the world? What are you doing to change your life and your health? It brings the responsibility back to ourselves instead of blaming everything around us, right? Because right now, in the way that we are right now, especially our generation, where like we get offended by everything and everything is everybody's fault but mine, right? Everybody's fault but mine.
That's the way it works.
That's how it is. And so if the whole world was to do some kind of natural medicine, and I believe that we are going in that direction because people are noticing, do I want to take like a medicine for 20 years that is going to like make me nauseous every morning? Or do I want to do something different that might not even make me have any kind of side effects? Why am I choosing what kind of medication I have to tell the doctor to give me? I'm not the doctor. Why there's propaganda telling you to take these things when you're not a doctor? Why are they telling you to tell the doctor? All these things are kind of moving into the direction of like self-awareness. And if everybody was to do some kind of natural medicine, energy medicine, it would bring that back to like you're responsible, right? Like there's this quote that says, be the change you want to see in the world.
Right.
You cannot blame the whole world for something. You will never change the world, but you can only change yourself, and you can only be responsible for yourself and your health and your family's health. And
you're making too much sense, Lina, and it's honestly, it's disturbing me.
I know it's actually really sad because we are never taught this. We're never taught that we are responsible for our own body. Instead, we're kind of taught to like exteriorize everything, and it's like you're to blame. The food is the blame, the processed food and the sugars and the blah, blah, blah. But we have the choice.
Yeah.
Pero bueno, entonces that leads me to the next question. ¿Qué coño comes tú, mi hermana?
De todo. That's the one thing that I am. Yes, I'm a very healthy person and I try to be very healthy, but I'm also not the type of person that is going to tell you, oh my God, you're eating that. That's disgusting.
I'm over here having an IPA.
Because listen to me. I feel like balance is very important. You cannot have this idea that everything's gonna be perfect. I feel like I'm gonna enjoy my Chick-fil-A. I'm gonna enjoy my beer and my wine whenever I want to too. Because life is about living, not about like being restrictive. And like whether you want to be healthy is an inside thing, like I mentioned, it's an inside thing. So if I'm doing this every single day, and if I'm doing this all the time, then hey, like maybe I need to like switch up my little routine a little bit. But doesn't mean that it's bad. If food is food. Food is food, okay? If that's all you can afford, then try to do a little bit different things, like
You know,
change up like a little bit.
is there something that if you went to go have a Big Mac right now, afterwards you'd say, "Coño, no, fuck this. I gotta drink this because now I feel balanced." You know what I mean? Like is there, it's like the people that go to the gym that go eat like a buffet and afterwards they have to go do sit-ups to feel like
Like
you know,
a
like
CrossFit person.
yeah, like they didn't mess up. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they're not gonna be fat because now they got like a set of.
Yeah.
Is there something you drink
No.
after you eat something bad or something that makes you feel like okay, I'm good now. I'm good.
Well, to be honest, if I eat something crappy and I'm like, oh, I feel bloated, I'll just needle myself.
I knew it. I knew
So
it.
I literally lay there, and I'll lay in the couch, and I'll just needle my whole tummy. I'm like,
Thank
and just
God your
kinda like,
Colombian parents are not here because they'd walk in that room and they'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
oh my, it's so funny. I'll needle my parents. One time it was really funny. My dad was really sick, and my dad was the one that was like, I don't know if I want you to needle me. Like he was almost like, are you really certified to do this? And then I remember one time I got to Miami. He was sick as a dog. He had the flu, and I'm like, let me just needle you. He's like, no, I'm just gonna take this Theraflu and lay here and sweat it out. And I'm like, please, let me just needle you so you can see what it is. I put,
Right.
and then he's like, I can breathe.
There you go. All he needed was that needle. You're on mute, bro. By the way, yeah, Nable's over here on mute.
I had to.
Live show. Lina, is it true that there's a point in your forehead or in your
Speaking of points,
what?
no, it's
I don't even know what the
acupuncture.
hell you're
Acupuncture.
Yes, point.
Yeah. Dale, sigue,
Confusing
cuento.
me, bro.
No, sigue,
Is,
cuento, mijo.
is there a point in your forehead or your top of your head or something que te sube la hemorroide? Is that true?
No joda, bro.
Yeah, actually,
wait.
yes.
Hold on a second.
Actually, yes.
Wait, watch.
Yeah, actually, it is true. So this point right here on the top of the head is called do 20. Okay, is the point that connects this whole area, the spinal, all the way to right here.
El ano.
So then, when you would stimulate this point right here, it brings the energy upwards. So it helps the down effect or the down energy that it is causing the hemorrhoids. So let's say, because Chinese medicine is very natural, we use terms like in nature. So we will say, like, for example, you have cold inside, you have hot, you have heat, you have excess, you have deficiency, you have a down, like you're down bearing energy, you're pushing up energy. So pushing up energy would be more like migraines, or maybe like high blood pressure, right? Your head gets red, your eyes get red, you have a headache. That's upwards energy. Things that go downwards energy, it would be like hemorrhoids. Things are going down, they're sinking, right? So what we do is stimulate that energy flow so it can go in the opposite direction that is kind of leading. So I don't know if you guys heard, like, people get prolapse of like the colon, for example, or like the uterus prolapses, meaning that it falls out, like it falls downwards.
Heard of that.
What we do is push the energy upwards, so it can kind of like your body has this thing called upright chi, which goes upwards. So we stimulate that so it can move the energy up and the circulation up to the head. You have a headache, you stimulate a point in your hand to bring the energy down. So we kind of work with nature, right? So the way that acupuncture works is through the observation of nature. We observe nature and we see, hey, dampness makes things heavy. What happens when your body gets damp? When you have a lot of like dairy and you have a lot of cheese and you have a lot of like sugars, what happens? You feel heavy, you feel sluggish, you feel heavy downwards. So that's kind of a way to diagnose and treat people. We treat them through natural concepts.
Very cool. Love all that.
I wonder if I would stand on my head, would it do the same thing?
Yeah, if you have to stand there for a long time.
No, I never.
I mean, listen, yogis do it. Yoga brings energy up to the head. That's, for example, like women that are menstruating or that have that are pregnant should not be standing in their head when they do yoga, because it brings the energy up to the head.
So let me ask a quick question. So if I would want to go ahead and do a treatment, how does that work? Is there like a thing that I have to go in and tell you where everything hurts and all of that, and then we create a system. How does that work?
Tienes a Ebo vendido.
No, yeah, I would know.
Okay, so listen, I'm gonna tell you guys how. Like, if, for example, if you were coming to see me, all right, Abel, you coming to see me. Hi, I'm Lina. I'm gonna give you this sheet of paper that has a review of systems. We're gonna talk about the family, your family history. We're gonna talk about if you remembered your childhood, if you were a sick child, how was your pregnancy, how was if you had kids, how was your pregnancy. We talk about eyes.
Abel used to get into a lot of fights back then, and you do a lot of coke.
And we talk a lot about like health things, like major health things that happen. So let's say if you had concussions, if you had car accidents, if you fell down the stairs or anything like that, we talk about that in very deep and in a very deep way. So after we go through this questionnaire that is like 3 pages long, because I'm actually trying to get to know you in a very deep way.
Right.
After that, I feel your pulse, because your pulse is going to tell me how your organs and how your body is reacting. And if I don't see that, then it's like very deficient. So we've got to give you some energy to move that circulation. But like I'll feel the pulse. Then I'll look at your tongue, because your tongue is a microsystem of your whole organs and like how your organs are doing. So my favorite thing is like looking up like celebrities and seeing their tongue and seeing what's going on in their bodies. It's my favorite thing. Actually, that's how I got famous on TikTok.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I was looking at, like, I would diagnose and like kind of analyze people's tongues and say what's affecting them, and it was just so on point. It's just so great. And then after looking at your tongue, I'll palpate the channels of energy that I showed you guys and see how they're doing. If there's nodules, if there's pain, their tenderness. Let's see where is energy getting stuck. So let's say you have a hip pain. I'm going to go through the whole channel of the gallbladder, which it goes all the way to the bottom of your leg, to see where things are getting stuck. And then once you feel those points, once you feel that energy flow in those points, then I'll go ahead and needle the points that are necessary, burn marks up, do cupping, or any kind of treatment that I think is going to be good for you.
And what does cupping do? And what is the purpose of the cupping?
That's a great question. No, because I see that stuff all the time. They actually did it to me too.
Really?
It did feel weird at first. I'm not gonna lie.
Like
it was
big
like,
ass hickey.
It was like a pingajeto. Like it's just like squeezing me at every point in my back. But afterwards, I just think it's one of those things. It's like that meditation where like you kind of tense yourself, your whole body, and then afterwards you kind of feel like relaxed. Have you seen that before? I'm sure Lina knows about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure it's like something similar in a certain way, right?
Right. So cupping, what it does, it stimulates the muscle. So a lot of the time we have a lot of tension, let's say in your upper back, because you're in the computer all day, and you have all this tension up here that is causing you to be like this. So what cupping does is kind of release that tension. It pulls the muscle and whatever's stagnant or obstructed in that muscle, it pulls it to the surface. And then that bruise or that hickey that we see, right? Like that purple hickey that everybody knows what is cupping, that's actually, it's blood that's going to be circulated back into the system through the capillaries. So it's actually pulling blood out of the muscle to release the tension, because what happens when there's tension is like a rubber band that has been pulled and pulled and pulled, and it's like so tight that there's no way to release it. But what the cupping does is like it releases the muscle tension and helps the whole body, not just that area, the whole body circulate blood and chi, as we call it, or energy.
You see, that's interesting to me.
Yeah, cupping is fantastic. It's one of my favorite things. I have these really cute cups that are like heart-shaped.
Oh, cool.
Whoa, wait a minute.
So they leave heart-shaped hickeys in your back.
I don't know about that one.
I did a lot of those in Valentine's. So they had like, everybody had, my boyfriend had a bunch of hearts in his back.
Well, I don't know what he would be giving you back for, but bueno.
Hey, Lina, do you get any of these little viejitos and shit that you said you get? The majority of their patients are like 80. I've been drinking. I'm like 4 of these very strong IPAs deep, so I'm like kind of like
Ay, Andy.
So I'm sorry, Lina. I was gonna say.
Dang, I should have gotten some wine too.
I know.
Claro.
We gotta let the guests.
Un guarito.
We gotta let the guests.
Un
know next
guarito.
time. We gotta let the guests know next time that we're kind of tapped up over here as we're on. So if they feel the need to do the same, to go ahead and do so.
It's the true happy hour
For sure. Pero Lina, when you get these little viejitos, right? They're like in their 80s and shit, and they're seeing like a young, like cute girl, Hispanic, coming to like meterle pinchazos and shit. You get any of these little old men? They're like, I have a pain in my right testicle. Can you make them un pinchazo? Do you get anything like that? Like, you don't have to mention obviously any names or anything, but have you had any experiences with any of these little old guys?
No, thank God I haven't had anything like
you haven't been
that.
experienced enough. Give it another 10 to 20 years.
No, I don't think I've what I have. People do, especially older men. They're like, "Oh, Colombian, that's where I need to go find me a wife." That's one thing that they do. So when I tell them I'm Colombian, they're like, "Oh, Colombia, and that's where I need to go. Where do I go find me a wife in Colombia?" And I'm like, Medellin. Go to Medellin and give them a green card. They will love you forever. No, I mean, I had really good experiences, which is I'm really thankful for. I had really good experiences. I haven't had any creepy dudes or anything like that. I actually have like very respectful people, surprisingly, very respectful people towards me, and I'm really appreciative of that.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's another thing. I think it's because I'm giving them some kind of relief that they don't want to miss out on, or they don't want to mess up, right? So
For
like
sure.
I'm giving them that hour of my time, like full attention, full like care for them. So why would they want to ruin that? Because I'm gonna be like, peace out. If you're really creepy, I'm gonna be like, nah, I'm transferring you over to another acupuncturist, which is a dude, and I'm gonna move the hell on because
For
I'm not
sure.
gonna take that. I'm not gonna-
Lina, but that leads me to my next question, or one of my final questions here. Abel's wife said que no se le está subiendo a Abel. Do you have any recommendation to
the lead in
fix
the
that
pencil, please? It is not working.
Listen. I'm just messing around. In reality, the real question is the following, and I wanna ask.
We do work with that a lot, actually.
I know. I'm sure you do. And that's definitely for the next
time
we bring you on.
I need some help with that.
Yeah, but Abel has what like your heart thing and whatever and all stuff, whatever. And I have issues with my kidneys. I get kidney stones and all stuff and whatever. Give us a very quick, high level diagnosis, Chinese medicine style, of what you would do with Abel with improving his heart conditions, and what you would do with me with my kidney.
Right. So it really, like I mentioned, is patterns. So let's say that I don't know, like your symptoms or what's going on, but let's say that is something to do with like that you're experiencing palpitations, or you're experiencing chest pain, or you're experiencing like dream disturbed sleep. That's a big thing with heart issues, is that you have like really weird, like disturbing dreams for some reason, because your heart kind of, it's like the emperor, it holds the spirit. So I would look up like with you, for example, I would make sure that your heart, how is it? Is it a regular beating? How is it beating? How many beats per minute is it going? Are you exerting whenever you exert yourself? Do you feel fatigued? Do you feel tired whenever you exert yourself? So those are some of the questions. So let's say that you say, yes, Lina, with exertion, I literally feel like I'm going to pass out. That to me says that there's not enough blood going into the heart and not circulating enough. So what I'm going to try to do is nourish your heart blood, nourish that aspect of like circulation into the heart, so you can have more blood and you don't feel like you're gonna pass out every time that you exert yourself or go up the stairs, right? So like we would call it the pattern, we would call it, let's say, heart blood deficiency of blood in the heart, right? That's kind of like the pattern. But again, we don't use labels because it's gonna be, we don't use labels. We use more like a whole system. So yes, you might have like heart blood deficiency, but you also might have some kind of qi and blood stagnation that's causing pain in certain places, or you might have liver qi stagnation, which is causing anger. So it's like a big combination, and that's why there's certain things that are happening.
And
so
for the record, I'm strong like bull.
And for the record, that's not him. I'm just saying, like, it's I'm just kind of like saying things, but that's kind of like the way that you were diagnosed. For example, somebody with kidney stones, we would say something like chi and blood stagnation in the kidney channel or in the kidneys, depending if it has moved, the kidney stone has moved away from the kidneys and it has gone into the urethra, then that's like a little bit more on the channel. And if it's in the kidney, then it's more in the kidney energetically. So when I say
urethra.
no, actually, there's an amazing herb like that that I always say to people that every time that people have kidney stones, it's a reoccurring thing. So whenever you have one kidney stone, it's gonna happen constantly. It's gonna happen all the time. So one of the things that I found that is really helpful is this tincture called herb stonebreaker. And it has 2 herbs, okay? It has chanca piedra and hydrogena. Chanca piedra breaks down the kidney stones, and hydrogena makes them smoother. So then when they're passing through the urethra, it's not as painful as it would be like if they're like little sharp edges like going through and like hurting you, because that hurts, for men it's like
you ain't gotta
really painful.
You ain't gotta tell me, Lina. I've had plenty of them. The last time I ended up in North Regional Hospital having to have a first of all, I had one of those procedures where they do the sonic blast shit and it didn't break it. And then I had to have the thing where they go in through my wiener and they had to like grab in the ureter. They had to pull it out. And dude,
they break it with the laser.
Yes.
And
they
then they pull it little by little.
They try to remove as much of it as they can. A lot of times they cannot remove it 100%. That's what happened to me. And you still have to like, pero the pain, Lina. The pain when you get home and you have to fucking pee.
What do you have for pain?
Dude. Well, they give you oxycodone, but I didn't drink that shit because I don't fucking around.
Yeah, and they give you some kind of muscle relaxers to open up your.
Yeah, they gave you Flomax. They gave you Flomax. That's what they gave me. But I went ahead. I remember I woke up.
Sounds like you bought that at a carport.
Yeah, I know, right? I woke up out of the procedure, and the first thing I told the nurse when I woke up, I said, "I have to take a shit. I have to take a shit," and that was because of like just the discomfort, And when I sat down, and actually what I had to do was actually pee. When that drop of pee came out of me, it was like, dude, like not even. Well, I would say maybe my worst enemy, but honestly, in all seriousness, not even my worst enemy, dude. The most painfulest fucking thing ever. I mean, ever. Like I don't even know how I could even describe that pain. And I went through like a solid 8 to maybe 10 hours that day when I went home in the bathroom, standing up the whole time, just in pain. Like I couldn't even lay down. Like it was
horrible,
like so to me, it's like I drink a gallon of water now every day. I don't drink Coke anymore. I've been trying to stay away as much as I can, like high sodium, too much sugar, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Pero, it's like Lina was saying, you can't be perfect. Sometimes you go have this, sometimes you go have that. I have been staying away from soda 110%. I don't drink soda.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. I think the calcification happens a lot with sodas. I think that's the biggest cause of them. One of the things, like I mentioned, the Stonebreaker is like by this company called Herb Farm. And it's like just 2 herbs, and you can take that.
I'm drinking chanca piedra. Remember, I'm from Miami, bro. Like they
sell
chanca piedra and navarros and all that shit. Like they sell
but
it.
You gotta take it together because that extraction of tincture is what makes it so much better. It like really helps your body break through that and then not let it build up. So let's say because you're having recurring kidney stones, you want to take it at least like once every 2 days so you can kind of keep going with it, so you're not so you can continue breaking through the little stones, because even though you might have fixed one little stone, it might be a little bunch of the little ones that you want to break through. So
gotcha. Yeah, that's all great. I'm definitely gonna go. I'm gonna follow up with you after this.
Yeah, you guys put yourself out there. Y'all put yourself out there.
So that gets me to. I'm gonna follow up here before we wrap up. How can people reach out to you? What is the ideal way to reach out to you? How can people make an appointment? How can they go see the amazing Lina Del Pilar, Chinese medicine and acupuncture doctor?
Yeah, so if you wanted to reach out to me, you can definitely reach out to me over Instagram, pillaroflight.healing, or you can reach out to me through my website, pillaroflighthealing.com. I actually go to 2 different clinics. One of them is Florida Consulting and Acupuncture here in town in Gainesville on 43rd Street. And we take a lot of insurances and stuff like that, health insurance. And then the other way is I go to another clinic every Thursday, which is in San Agustin. So if you're around the area of San Agustin, I'm there on Thursdays, and the clinic is called First Coast Chiropractic. So it's kind of like an integrative practice. I do a lot of integrative work with people. So yeah, I would love to help you guys out, and just I love that I can teach people about it. And there's other ways to treat your pain. There's other ways to treat yourself.
Did you say your website is pillaroflighthealing.com or is it pillarofhealing.com?
Pillaroflighthealing.com.
Oh, pillaroflighthealing.com.
Mm-hmm.
Put it up here. Okay, Abel, you have any other final questions?
No, my brother. I think she's been a fantastic guest. And by the way, guys, this would be our first female on the show.
Yes.
So give it up. And she's been able to hang with us.
Let's give a round of applause to the first female who's been on the show.
You won the T-shirt.
Gracias.
Viva Colombia.
Hey.
Yeah. It's a Cuban dude show, but maybe a lot of people don't even know this. It might be revolutionary and blow out some people's minds right here. But Abel's actually Colombian. I don't know if a lot of people know that.
Yeah,
no way. Are you?
Yeah, my parents are from Barranquilla.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
He sounds more Cuban than me.
I grew up in Miami, dude. I was born in Jersey, and when I was 3, I went down to Miami. I went to Catholic school with all the Cuban peeps, and I got married to a Cuban girl, and
yeah, he's an honorary
Cuban. A Cuban dude.
I'm a Cuban dude, man.
A Cuban dude. That's so cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
well, thank you guys so much for having me and for letting me teach people about Chinese medicine. You know, natural medicine is.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, and we got somebody here saying "girl power." Look at that, girl.
Hey,
all right, girl power.
Hey, Diana.
Right. Lina, if you don't have anything else, we're gonna sign off with you, and we're gonna end the show. You got anything else you want to say, or are you good to go?
No, I'm good to go. Thank you guys for having me, and anything that you need, you guys can contact me anytime.
Cool.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is Pilar of Light Healing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
.com. All right, Lina. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Give another round of applause for Lina. Thank you, guys. There we go with Lina. I am you. Why does Lina keep popping up? Oh my God, Lina, live show. You see that, Lina?
Live show.
All right, Lina. Bye-bye, Lina.
Arrivederci.
Yeah, dude, so weird. I'm like disconnecting.
Dude, no, and I got zapped with the thing. I mean, today has been
one of those things. It's la brujería, bro.
Bro, it's la brujería, bro.
La brujería. Todo el
mundo,
yeah, people are like, we're like, oh, we're seeing the Cuban dudes fucking do shit. Oh, let's pingar the Cuban dudes.
Vamos a llamar al babalao.
Yeah, we gotta get the chickens.
I was gonna say like 40 gallinas, all that bullshit.
Yeah, but we gotta build a railroad in the front here first, so we could throw the chickens on that shit first.
Oh yeah, no,
first the railroad, then the chickens.
No, it's hilarious you say that. So I don't know if you remember, there was a few months ago that there was dead chickens, roosters popping up in every 4 corners of Gainesville. Yeah, dude, and there was I go look at it. There was a report. Bro, okay, the problem is that the people here have no idea what that culture is.
The dingoes are all spazzing out. They're like, what
they
the
have
fuck
no idea what that is, dude. That's animal sacrificing to their deities, and they don't know.
Gainesville.
Get ready.
I'm so sorry, Gainesville. We've moved up here.
Y cagamos todo, bro.
You might as well start moving further north because it's fucked up and ain't gonna get any better.
No, man. You heard her. Everybody from Miami's moving up, dude. And not only Miami, Tampa, Orlando. In the next 3 years, you're not gonna recognize this place, dude.
Yeah.
Hopefully, right.
The college is a very big thing here that I think won't ever let Gainesville be like Miami, if you get what I mean. Miami's very red, but definitely, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting in the future. Abel, you got anything else before we sign off today?
Nothing,
we ran everything significantly over an hour here with Lina.
No, I think it's been a fantastic show. Great that we had her on. I thought it was just going to be a couple of questions ago, and she was a great guest. Very, very informative. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think she picked up probably a few clients with us.
For sure. I mean, at the very least, I'm definitely going to go check her out. I'm sure my wife will. And maybe you or yeah, I actually heard about that shit back in Miami. I think when I did actually the acupuncture, or maybe it was my wife, my wife's always the one giving me the know-how of all the natural stuff. And I learned that there was a point right here that if you put a needle right there, te sube la hemorrhoide, bro.
Yeah, and it sounds funny as shit, but it's a thing.
It is, and you know what? I was gonna say this to Lina, I'll say it to you, and I'm sure you know this because of all this stuff. All this medicine, all this shit just comes from nature, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, people like to pretend and think like medicine just comes from the fucking sky, like the pill that you're drinking just comes from like some, just literally like they just think about it at like the laboratory level, but they don't think about like where the thing comes from, like the bop. Who put the bop in the bop chabop chabop?
Right,
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 like,
right.
Fuck did that thing come from?
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean?
So the opiates come from opium.
Yeah,
That's a plant.
I mean, it comes from nature,
And that's when who's controlling that?
so when you have somebody like Lina coming out and going, yeah, you know, we give you an herb, we give you, people are like, shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
they don't believe it, dude.
They just want the instant fix.
Right.
That's what they want. It's like Lina's point. They just want the instant fix. We all want that.
Sure.
Really, that's really what we all want. So
Yeah.
but it is one of those things that when you do, I didn't talk to Lina about transcendental meditation, which is something that I do and all this kind of stuff. But like when you get into that world, you learn that those things they're not fixed overnight. You know, there's a process.
There is.
And I'll never forget. It's like the teacher who taught me transcendental meditation would say. It's like putting a scarf in a coat of paint. You know what I mean? Slowly, it starts to seep in the paint into the white scarf. You know what I mean? It's not something where like immediately it just turns yellow. You know what I mean? It takes a while. You know. And
so, do you astral flights and all that shit too? Have you?
I wish I could be at that level. No, I'm more just straight up mantra, and that's all.
And mudras and all that.
Yeah, but I'm not fucking levitating off the ground and shit and whatever. I wish I could get to a level like that. But
they stick a wire up your ass, you could do the same thing.
Yeah, but I'm also not that disciplined either. So.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, you just said wire up my ass, and I answered. I answered you back in a serious way, like you didn't say that.
Yeah, I know. You're into your thought.
Yeah. Anyways, man, I'm ready to sign off.
Yeah, let's do this, Papa.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for checking us out today. Remember, if you're checking us out on YouTube and you have not subscribed, please subscribe.
Share.
YouTube.com/@CubanDudes. I'm sure you're there on the page. Just hit the little subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram, on Facebook @CubanDudes. Just check us out. Follow us. Share our show. If you guys enjoyed the content, I mean, I think Lina was a great guest, and we're going to have more great guests, and we're going to have more fun times, and I'll talk a lot more shit coming into the future. And you guys enjoy the content, please go ahead and share. We very much appreciate it. You know, like I mentioned before, we don't get paid for this shit, but we definitely would want to see at least people's reactions to our show and give us feedback and share our stuff to see if it's even worth it to continue, if you get what I mean. You know, we want to see our time and our investment kind of paying off in that sense. So we very much appreciate that from you guys.
Is there a way that they can maybe email us and let us know things that maybe they would want to hear about?
CubanDudes@gmail.com. CubanDudes@gmail.com. Next time, if you guys are watching the next episode, you guys become fans of ours, 352-234-4888. That's our number. It's always on. It's always available. It's a Bluetooth. It's connected to our system. So we'll tap you right into our board. We'll be able to talk to you. Any questions you want to ask.
Who are you going to tap?
Oh, God. That's what she said, right? That's what you're going at? Anything, whatever. So, God, you always mess up my train of thought, bro.
Sorry, broski.
Yeah, drop a fart to get me back in line. My God, he has to now look it up. Jesus.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry, man.
Come on, it's the purple one. There you go. There, that's a cleanser. Now I'm back on track.
Yay.
So, CubanDudes@gmail.com, 352-352-234-4888. Or just subscribe, follow us, all the above. Thank you so much, guys, for checking us out today. We appreciate you. We're out.
Deuce.
This has been El Cuban Dudes Show with Andy and Abel. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@CubanDudes, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram @CubanDudes. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.